Welcome to the Socialite series, where we celebrate and promote women who influence the world. We do this each and every week to bring you information, inspiration, and motivation from socialites who have something to say. I'm your host, Monica Karst. Now let's get this party started. Welcome back to the Socialite series. We're on episode number 2, and I'm so glad you decided to join us. Today, we have a very special guest host. And together, we are sitting in Santa Cruz, California, in our pajamas. Please help us welcome JoJo Williams. Good morning, JoJo.
Good morning, Monica. Thank you so much for having me on.
I am so happy to have you. And I'm just going to share a little bit because nobody was on before when we were talking about not being on video because we're both in our pajamas. So that's the beauty of doing radio.
Absolutely.
So, JoJo, I know you. I want the world to know you. You are absolutely a phenomenal inspiration to men and women around the world. So tell us who JoJo is right now. Who are you, and what do you want to tell the world?
It's interesting when we're called to talk about ourselves. I guess the best way I could describe myself is I'm somebody who is completely in love with myself and knows who I am today. But my message to the world isn't about who I am. It's about who you are. And that's what happens when we come into this space of empowerment and, through a journey of self-actualization, self-awareness. And we erase all the lies that we've told ourselves our entire life and wake up to the truth of who we are, the divinity that exists within us as us. Our message to the world isn't, look at me, I'm great. My message to the world is you are great. And so that's what my passion is about today, Monica, is helping to awaken other people to their own greatness and their own amazing capabilities and gifts. And so that's the pursuit of my days today, is just helping awaken others to loving themselves and creating the life that they deserve to live, that is their birthright.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny you say it that way because you do it through you, because you take action. So let's celebrate your most recent act and celebration. What just happened within this last year? What did you just do?
Well, in November, I was in Orlando at an event for a company that I'm with, an amazing, amazing company. And a gentleman by the name of Mark McDonald came on stage, who had partnered with the company and laid out this plan. And I was actually 3 months into considering getting gastric bypass. I was about 370 pounds at the time. And something clicked inside of me in that moment, and I decided, I've got to go for this. I've got to try this because it was something so different. It wasn't a diet. And I realized this company that I'm with, Jeunesse, cares about us, is actually bringing someone on board who can teach us a lifestyle. And there was this switch in me, and I went for it with everything. And that was a little over 6 months ago, and I've lost over 100 pounds so far. What I've gained far exceeds what I've lost, though. I've regained my mobility, my freedom, and I've also been able to launch a couple coaching programs and stuff and really start helping other people do the same. And it's something so unique because it's unlike anything I've ever done. Now, I've been involved in diets in the past, many. I've done the yo-yo diet thing. I've lost weight. I've gained weight. I've even promoted weight loss products. And I swore I would never get behind anything like that again, Monica, because losing weight and gaining it back hurts, and it's almost more unhealthy to do that than to stay overweight, the going back and forth. And when I saw this, I realized, this is something I can do for life. This is a food-based program. This is learning how to balance blood sugar. And so I'm actually getting certified as a health coach through Mark McDonald's Venice Nutrition, and have my own coaching clients today. And we're all embarking on this amazing journey of learning how to live, learning how to love our body. One of the things that I focus on with my coaching clients, is why you eat. Because we can all learn how to eat, but if we don't learn why we eat, we will slip back into that abyss. There's
So true.
such things going on, emotional things connected with it. So I'm excited for this celebration, and I won the top female transformation for the beta launch of this program, and I'll be on CNN soon. And so just a lot of great things happening.
That is so fantastic. Now let's roll back because you went over that really quickly. You lost over 100 pounds in 6 months eating healthy. This
Yes.
is a huge, huge transformation. I mean, it's huge mentally, physically, spiritually. This is a big deal, and congratulations for making that change in your life to help others, because you said you were here to help others. Well, you're leading the way. This is a big deal.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, of course, it's not easy. There are struggles. Tell us how you get past that. Who's your support system? What's your why?
Well, first, let me start with the support system, because my why is a much bigger story, and I know we'll go into that. I'm involved in an amazing community of thousands of individuals who are embarking on this same, what I refer to as a live it, because we're not dying, we're living. And I have a huge circle of support. So when I'm having a rough day, I have people to talk to. And I have a group, a private Facebook group that I can go and talk there. And we're very transparent. We're very open. And we celebrate our failures and our victories, because it's all part of it. This isn't something where we beat ourselves up, and we learn how to love ourselves right where we're at. And it's not, we really celebrate our off-scale victories. That is a huge premise for this community, is not basing everything on the numbers on a scale, getting away from our worth being tied up in our weight. Because when you begin to understand your body, how it works, the numbers on the scale can be very deceptive and very discouraging. So I would say that I make a promise to myself that when I'm having a tough day, I reach out. That's the most important thing. And I reach out whether I failed or whether I've, triumphed over that rough day. And I share it all. And so does everybody else in the group.
Great. Well, and you're also very transparent on social media. So you are really good about sharing your good days and your bad days. And it just comes through. Your authenticity is just such a bright, shining light. And for people who are watching, such as myself, I get inspiration from you for knowing that not every day is going to be a good day, but it's okay. Pick up the pieces and carry on. And you do that often.
Monica, I believe in a future where we live with full transparency. And because that's what I want to see in the future, I make it a choice to be that. When I first got on that one initial weigh-in video, 368 pounds, and I wore tight clothing, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't scared. And I wanted to have a level of accountability, but more so I wanted to show people what it looks like to love ourselves where we're at, because that's really what's needed to go elsewhere, right? Not to wait until we reach some destination to present ourselves. We are presentable now. And so the courage to do it wasn't just about me. It was really about my friends and my community, and showing them that to have the courage to be brave and to go forward and say, this is who I am. Let's create a world of acceptance, of unity, of love. And so I do that in my actions. I create what I want to see.
Absolutely. You sure do. Now, going back to support system, I know that you live with your sister, and in this day and age, we all, kind of huddle together, parent, sister, brother. I was thinking about you yesterday because I have a brother who lives with me, and now his son is here. So in one room, I have my brother and him, and in one room I have myself and my two daughters, and we all play musical beds depending on who's here for the weekend, who's not here. And to me, I absolutely love it. I love it. It brings me back to my childhood of having the whole family together. And so explain that dynamic. I bet that's huge for you as well.
Well, it's actually quite amazing. As you know, I spent 3 years traveling around in an RV, and sometimes putting that in storage and traveling by train across the country. And so when my sister decided she was going to get a divorce, she asked me if I'd be willing to get a place with her. And so we rented this beautiful property up in the mountains and spent a year there. And then we bought a condo up on the golf course up here in Boulder Creek. And it'll be 2 years in November that we've been living together. And it is the most amazing dynamic, the support system. It's always been her and I through everything in our lives. We grew up with a very rough childhood, but we've always had each other through every major event in our lives. We've been there. So being able to, and I was actually able to gift my RV to a young lady who had no home. Just knowing I operate on an abundance mindset that all is always provided. And when you have the opportunity to give, and just do it of whole heart. And one day I will get back on the road, Monica, but for now, it's nice to be in a home again. It's nice to have that family unit that you're talking about, that support, to all be working together. So I'm very blessed, and we really take care of each other.
And I love to see that. So everything is so good now. It's not, It has not always been good for you. You have had some crazy stories, which I know you're working on a book. So people will have to stay tuned to hear all of this. I mean, there are probably 100 chapters. And the resilience that you have to come over on this side and to just radiate happiness is nothing short of a miracle and self-help. I mean, you have put yourself in a space of bliss. And you've done that by choice. Can we go back to, let's start, we're going to have to choose a story because of limited time. So can you start with the story of Stella? Tell us who Stella is and where you were in that time of your life.
You know, that's absolutely a great place to start because she is my why. She's my biggest why. She saved my life. Stella is my daughter. She's 5 years old, and she lives with both of her fathers, her adoptive fathers, in San Francisco. And when I got pregnant with Stella, it was a very tough time in my life. I was in a wheelchair. I was 430 pounds. I was on several different medications, and my future looked really bleak. It was at a very low point in my life, and I was actually ended up homeless during my pregnancy with her. My youngest son was 22. I had 5 grandchildren at the time. I have 7 now. And I had no idea that I could even have a child. And she actually came at a time when I had prayed deeply for a new path. First time I had ever prayed in my life, asking for me, you know, a true prayer, really thinking that maybe God would hear me. And Stella was conceived. And I didn't know how I was going to do this, but I knew that abortion absolutely was not an option. And it was about my 6th month when I realized that I could not keep her. I absolutely could not keep her. I had no place to bring her home. It was the hardest decision I ever made in my life, but I wanted her to have everything. I already knew who she was. I could see her in my visions and my dreams and just angels' wings wrapped around her. The whole story of her pregnancy is phenomenal, and it's all in my book. So I chose adoption, and I met her fathers and knew immediately that she was meant to be with them. She's traveling the world, Monica. She speaks French and English fluently, and she goes to a French immersion school, and she's just brilliant and beautiful and such a healer. And after the adoption, because of this feeling of loss, it was almost as if coming home from the hospital and having lost my child. It didn't feel like a gift at the time that I had given. It felt like I had lost a child. And the mourning was so hard. It was so hard. It sent me even down a bigger downward spiral than before she came into the picture. And I found myself in December of 2011 planning my own suicide. And I was sitting on the couch for 8 hours trying to figure out how I could kill myself. And I was trying to make it so that nobody would have to discover my body and nobody would have to pay for my funeral. And I remembered 11 years earlier, my therapist saying to me, "You're one of the most intelligent women who's ever sat across this desk. I don't understand why you're here. Honey, you don't believe you deserve love. You can accurately self-analyze. You are more courageous and strong than anyone I've ever met, but you don't believe you deserve love, and you think you have to sacrifice yourself in some way for people to love you. And if there ever comes a day where you have no reason to sacrifice yourself, you'll have no reason to be here. And I remember laughing at her and saying, you're insane. I'm the strongest woman I know, and suicide is for the weak. I would never commit suicide. And here I was planning my suicide, and her words came back to me, and I understood what she meant. And it hit me that in this moment where I'm planning my own death, even in this moment, my death, it couldn't be about me. I'm still worried about how I'm going to impact others. Even in this moment, I couldn't make it about me. And it hit me. I need to learn how to love myself. Like, I had no reason left to sacrifice myself. I had taught everyone in my life how to treat me, and everybody used me, hurt me, lied to me, stole from me. It was just, I had had enough. I had no faith left in me. And I had managed throughout my life, and you, Monica, you know a lot of my story, to believe the world was a great place. But I had finally come to this space where I had lost all hope in that, and I didn't want to be here anymore. And as I was sitting there, all I could see was Stella's face and the realization that her story would begin with her mother giving her up for adoption and then committing suicide. And I could not handle the idea of her growing up with that and not knowing how badly I wanted her, how much she meant to me, and how the sacrifice that I made was from the deepest place of love. So I did the unthinkable. And the next day, I drug everything out of my house into my front yard, and I started yard sales, and I sold everything I owned. And whatever I couldn't sell, I donated to the Battered Women's Network in Sacramento, California, and let the dealership keep my Escalade. And I purchased this old junky travel trailer. And I decided I was going to strike out on this journey to learn how to love me. And my oldest son at the time thought I was insane. You're disabled, you're in a wheelchair, you don't even have a truck to tow yourself, and he wanted to have me, committed. And so I changed my phone number and I left the next day. And I didn't allow anyone other than my sister at the time to have my phone number. I needed to really leave everything behind to go out. And at the time, I thought I was going to go change the world. The world was a bad place, and it hurt good people like me, and I was going to go find myself. And what I discovered along the way is I was never truly lost. It was always my path, and every experience grew me. And that I didn't need to change the world. I simply needed to change myself, and the world around me began to change. I started writing this blog, and just so that my friends and family could track where I was and make sure I was okay,
Well, and it's a fabulous blog. So what is the name of your blog?
So you can get to that blog at www.jojowilliams.net.
And you've been working on that since when? Since 2012. It's the beginning of your journey.
Yeah, it's the beginning of 2012, the beginning of my journey. And
there is a lot of powerful stuff in that blog.
That blog was simply two things. One, so my family could follow where I was. My children wouldn't be worried. And because the only people who had my number were my sister and Stella's fathers. That's it. And two, to face my fears of admitting I didn't have it all together, to put it all out there, and just share the journey as I went. And I did. I shared it very transparently.
Which is huge. And JoJo, I'm so glad you are here. So thank you.
I am too. I was on the phone yesterday, stopped at the store. I'm on the phone with my personal assistant, Margaret Bryson, and we're talking, and I have my headset on, and this guy goes, JoJo? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you don't remember me, do you? And I said, no, I'm so sorry. And he goes, you changed my life. Oh. And I said, really? Well, good. How did I do that? And he said, from meeting you, you don't remember me, but I came to your house with your friend and with a friend of yours. We stopped by on a day we were headed to the beach, and you said some things to me, and it changed my life. And I just want to say thank you. And it's little moments like that I think if I had chosen that day to end it, I would have missed that. Changing my life, helping others change theirs,
Absolutely. And you have a huge following, and we all see that every day, especially on the social media sites. So when I met you, it was probably in about the 2013 timeframe, you were excited because you were able to get into your mobile wheelchair. I'm sure you remember that. Remember the excitement that surrounded that?
Oh, yes. It meant freedom going from a regular wheelchair to getting a mobile wheelchair. And I was so excited because at the time I didn't even have transportation at the time. I was living on disability. barely affording food. And so I got this mobility wheelchair. So I was able to go to the corner store on my own.
Yeah. And you were picking up garbage. You were so excited to go outside. You were actually picking up garbage with one of those little reach tools. And you were so
Oh,
excited that you were able
yes.
to participate. I remember this so clearly
I was
that
trying to
you
help
were
clean
able
up
to
the
do something.
community. Yes, I remember that. What great times, Monica. Thank you for that.
Yes. And then since then, I mean, look at where you have come. You have just lost again 100 pounds. That's a mindset. So fast forward, let's go into the happy day. Here, you're close to Stella. Stella has two wonderful fathers. She gets to travel the world. You have 7 grandchildren. What hope do you give so much hope to others? Tell us inspiration, what to do to hang on.
Well,
What was your key?
my key was learning to accept myself as I am, erasing the lies that I had told myself. I've come to this understanding today, Monica, that I take complete ownership of my life to the degree that I believe that I chose it all, including chose my parents, my birth situation, my upbringing. And I see how every experience that I used to resent actually created all these great things within me. And so I encourage people to gain a new perspective at your life, to just contemplate the idea that no wrong has ever been done, to choose to embark on a path of ending the victim mindset because it's so disempowering to believe that we are a victim and that this outside world controls the outcome of our life. When we take full ownership of our life, we're empowered. We're empowered to actually create the life that we deserve. And where I used to have people in my life who used me and more, today I have these amazing circle of soul sisters and brothers who are my soul tribe. I have people I talk to on the phone every day, Misty, Amanda, Sharon, Theodore, you. I have this community of people who support me and mentor me. I have Cedric. I have all these people. And I know you know these names, Monica. These are
Oh, yeah.
all
Said.
right? Said. What an amazing person to be aligned with and have the love and respect of. And just, it's a testimony to when we love ourselves, people show up to support that. And an interesting thing is that as I traveled on this journey, and I didn't have to eliminate people from my life, Monica. They just faded away effortlessly because I was no longer an energetic match for people who operate on a lower vibration. As my vibration raised and I came into the space of loving myself fully and all of life and seeing that the world is a great place. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. I don't focus on negativity. I don't share negativity. I don't promote that. I promote unity. I don't promote anything that has to do with separatism. And I promote us using our, speaking our truth, but also recognizing that our truth isn't necessarily others' truth. And it certainly isn't the all-defining truth. And our truth is ever changing. I may say one thing today and tomorrow grow and learn and change that opinion. Like, we need to be that flexible. We need to be that kind with ourselves and others. And I promote ending the judgment in the world that separates us based on our belief system, the color of our skin, our upbringing. And I really encourage people to get to know those you don't know, because it is fear that separates us. And it's love that unifies us. And through unity, we change the world.
Oh, how I agree with you 100%. And I'm so glad that you brought up the key of, which is my most important key of your story, the good and the bad. I embrace the good. I embrace the bad, because if it were not for the bad, it would not make us the amazing badasses that we are today. So, and we can play the victim, but if you want to play the victim, then the person who did that to you is the one who wins. And do you want to live the rest of your life in their shadow and give them the power? No, I don't. You don't. So very, very important is everyone can start with themselves by mindset. It's a powerful, powerful tool of just changing your story and changing your mindset.
And you can rewrite the story at any time. I would really love to impress upon the listeners to really think about the fact that, I weighed over 430 pounds. I was at a place of ending my life. I was on disability with barely any income. And, I struck out on this journey. Like, I didn't know how this was all going to work, but I knew something deep inside of me had to change, and I just walked in faith that all would be provided. And today, all is provided. I'm not on disability anymore. I live a life where, I'm an energy artist. I sell my artwork. I do intuitive soul coaching. I do business coaching. I build big teams in the industry of direct sales. And I do a number of things, and I can do it from my pink bathrobe that I'm quite famous for. And because, like you said it, Monica, I show up as I am. And sometimes I might cut a video in my bathrobe, and that's okay. It's like we don't always have to show up perfect, because the truth is that each and every one of you are imperfectly perfect now. You were created from the divine, and we don't have to wait to be at some destination. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the journey, and fall in love with yourself today. If that's the one thing that you embark on is, I am going to learn to love me, every single thing in your life will change. I promise you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So in closing, I want everyone to know you are fantastic, amazing, a huge support. For those of you who are in Santa Cruz, get to know JoJo. Today, we celebrate you, JoJo. And how can others get a hold of you? Can you give us the information on your blogs, websites that you want to give out for others to reach out to you?
Yeah, and actually, you heard JoJoWilliams.net. That will take you to my journey, and, everything, the services I offer are available on there, as well as a new website that we are currently launching, and it is available. It's empowertribe.com. And I'm working in collaboration with some other beautiful souls that are, various gifts, light workers, energy artists, psychics, mediums, soul contract, human design, different things. And we all offer different things on that website, but we've come together to just embrace working together to help change the world and bring that awakening. There's a great change taking place today, Monica, and so that's another website you can visit, and we have various services there. And I welcome anyone listening. Connect with me on Facebook. Connect with me.
JoJo Williams.
JoJo Williams, and the extension is One Love Journey 2012. If you have trouble finding me, but you'll recognize me when you see me. It's hard to miss me. And Monica, I'd like to say congratulations to you. I love what you're doing, and I'm not surprised at all. You are amazing, so I'm celebrating you as well.
Oh, thank you, love. So with that, I want to say thank you, JoJo, for being on today and being our guest host, and for inspiring us. And for the rest of you, like JoJo said, go fall in love with yourself. So with that, that's a wrap. You can look for all of the information on JoJo on our social media page on the Santa Cruz Socialites. And go fall in love with yourself. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Socialite series. To find out more, visit us at santacruzsocialites.com and monicacart.com. Until next week, be seen and be heard, and get out and shine your social light on your community.